Good evening and welcome to day number 100 of this GTO analysis. So our final hand is pocket tens. Under the gun raises to 3, I call. Under the gun's new player, have 8 hands on him. All I can do is assume he's going to play something like this. He's played 25% of hands, but the stats are a little misleading. Only 8 hands, so you're kind of at the mercy of the cards. But I think 19% is okay for just a general player. Also, we are six-handed here, so that's probably decent. I did call, so I went to like a mid-position calling range, something like this. Pocket pair, not too crazy. Definitely, it's almost like it's same early position call. So if we look at early position call versus mid position call, it's basically the same. So I called, and we see flop. Flop is ace a7. I do think I'm capped. I don't really have aces. I don't really have ace king. I could have ace queen, ace jack. That would be about it. I do have some under pairs. I do have pocket sevens in my range, or I should. So villain 9 checks. I'm not surprised because if he has ace king, ace queen, I mean, he's just hammered the flop, and there's really nothing that I could have that would be willing to call. So he checks. I think I check behind. I think that's the appropriate play. 4 spades comes out. Villain checks. I think that's probably correct still for him because, again, that card doesn't really change who's ahead. And as I said, I'm capped. I don't really have aces. I don't really have ace king. So I would expect villain 9 to check, and then it's on me. And I check behind for basically the same reasons. I don't think I'm going to be able to get him off his hand if he has an ace, no matter what. Maybe I could get him off a hand if he has a higher pocket pair, so jacks, queens, or kings, but I kind of think those hands are calling. So rivers of 3 clubs, villain bets pot, and the question is, do I call, do I not? I do think he could be betting here with cards that I beat. He could have, let's say, 9s, 8s. He could have king, queen, king, jack looking to steal the pot. So I did call. That's, when he bet pot, I'm risking a pot to win, 2 pots. So I need to be right about 33% of the time, and I think I'm probably getting that. But the question is, what does GTO think? So let's check out GTO. Here's what villain should be doing, and as expected, he is going to be checking most of the time, 88% of the time. I would expect that. I think if he has 7s, you're betting, you're hoping that I have ace king or ace queen, ace jack, and we'll be calling or raising at some point. So I think that's just like the dream cards to have. His ace king, ace queen sometimes bets, but most of the time he's just going to be checking. His bluffing hands include like king, queen, king, jack. And like 4s, 5s, and maybe even 7, 6. So he checks. I think I'm actually betting at a much higher frequency than what I would have expected. I wouldn't have expected to bet 43% of the time. That seems to be what the mixed strategy is. I do have 10s, so it's looking like we're checking more with 10s and jacks. We're betting sums with 9s, 8s, and 7s, definitely with trip 7s. King, queen, mostly checking ace, queen, ace, jack, sometimes checking. So I kind of feel like my read of this hand was that I would have been checking a little too much. I don't think I would have been playing as aggressively, and that's something that I think we need to work on. So I did check, and turn was the 4 spades. 4 spades. Villain checks 63% of the time. I think this is where villain's starting to make some mistakes. He should be betting ace king, ace queen. I think this is also an error on my part. So he was like checking aces. So we go back to here. He was checking aces, kings, queens. Now he's betting aces. He's betting ace king. He's betting ace queen. I would have been under the assumption to check again and hope that maybe the player in position is going to bet to try to steal it. It looks like he's betting a lot more with like some of these small aces, even like ace6, ace5 as bluffs. He's betting queens, king, queen, king, jack, just kind of hitting it because, I had the opportunity to bet. Now he checks. Or I had the opportunity to bet, I checked, and now out of positions, going hard for it. So check happens, he checks, and then I'm checking about 70% of the time. And yeah, I could be betting definitely in the line, but again, it's kind of a mixed strategy. Whereas on the flop, we could be betting 8s and 9s. Now it looks like we're checking 8s and 9s, but now adding like 10s, a little bit more. Still only about 33% is what we're betting. We do have some queen jacks that we're betting, ace queen, ace jack. So we check again, and then I believe it's a 3 of clubs. Villain once he checked twice, he should be checking again here. I would have bet my aces now, my ace king, my ace jack. I think I probably would have had ace queen in there as well, hoping to get at least some value from it. Villain does check. It's on us. Villain bets pot is what I have here. And I think that's what he did. He bet pot. So when he bets pot, he does have like queen jack as a bluff. He has maybe jack 10 as bluffs. He has jacks. He has some 10s. He has, trip 4s. He bets, and then you're looking at, I should be folding 50% of the time. Definitely these are just bluff catchers at this point. Ace queen's raising, probably just shoving him all in. Ace jack is a call. So I think right here I'm probably following my line. I mean, at least the frequencies. If I always make this line, I think it's, not following GTO, but I think overall I don't think I made a huge mistake checking behind and then calling this board. So hand went in. What did he show? He showed ace 10. Is that in his range? It was. Well, let's see here, ace 10 offsuit. Yeah, it is in his range. We can go back. It's supposed to be a check, which it was. 10, ace 10. Yeah, again, just kind of like a check. And then he can bet somewhat. So it looks like he played okay as well. None of us were too bad, but I think I'm going to go back. What do we learn from this hand? We learned that I think if in villain shoes, we probably need to be a little bit more aggressive with some of the hands that I would have been checking again. So here with ace king, ace queen, I think I would have been checking those again, not really worried about giving that free card. I think I would have been more inclined to bet like the ace jacks, ace 10, maybe even ace 9 and ace 8. Because yeah, I wouldn't want to give, pocket 10s, pocket jacks a chance to catch a card that allows them to fill up and beat me, is probably what I would have been thinking, but that's not really that good a way. That's not the proper GTO. We fire out our value hands, these hands that are vulnerable. I wouldn't even say vulnerable. These are hands that, are likely going to lose if we bet and get called. Whereas if we bet ace king and ace queen, we're less likely to get called by better hands because in theory I'm capped. I don't have ace king and ace queen. Whereas I could easily have ace jack, ace 10, and if I bet ace 9 here, ace jack, ace 10 calls, and now I'm beaten. So, all right. We'll make this one short. We'll be done. I think it was relatively straightforward. Lost the hand, but probably could have been worse. I know that there are other players that probably would have been much more aggressive, and that's kind of why I would have checked on the flop, because I play against several players that would be betting flop and then probably would have shoved on the turn, and leaves me calling with ace king, ace queen. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, you might want to look tomorrow. I think we're going to be going back to do some hand reading. So really focus on hands that went to the river, try to take notes on players, on their bet sizing, and maybe a little bit on my bet sizing, and not just like range versus range, but also maybe delve into some GTO if we get into situations where I'm unsure if I made the correct play. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you do, look tomorrow. We'll start another 100 days.